We're back to Rec Hall, campus of Penn State in State College, Pennsylvania. The National Collegiate Men's Volleyball Semifinals, second one of the night, has the UCLA Bruins, the 2 seed, finalist out of the MPSF at 25-6. The perennial power takes on the champions out of the MEVA Conference, the Ohio State Buckeyes, in at 28-3. And with that, good evening and welcome here again to Rec Hall. I'm Ralph Bednarczyk. So the UCLA Bruins are back here for the first time since 2006 when they captured their last NCAA title. They've won 19 championships as a whole, and Coach John Speraw in his 4th season has the program back at a high level. Very young talent that appears like this is just the start of what could be the latest rebirth of UCLA men's volleyball. Meanwhile, for Ohio State, they have a team that is led by a lot of youth and a lot of tremendous outside hitting. They last won a championship back in 2011. Last night, they had the Player of the Year awarded in Nicholas Scherson. He is an outside hitter that is simply dynamic, and he'll hit everywhere across the court. First team All-American, becoming the first National Player of the Year in Ohio State history. Ranking top 10 nationally in several different statistical categories. Points percent, over 4.4 kills, half an ace a set, hitting over 400. He is just crushing the record books at Ohio State. 6'4" sophomore from France by way of Poland. He could have gone pro after graduating from high school. His father was a longtime pro and coach in France. He had 20 kills and 16 digs in the first round against George Mason. The rest of his Buckeyes. Christy Blau is the junior setter from Ontario, New York. That is just outside of Rochester. Driskesius, Blake Leeson, the middle blockers. Scherson joined by Christian Franceschi outside. Johnson, an All-American right side hitter from Carlsbad, California. He was first team All-American. And the libero is Gabriel Demikas. For the UCLA Bruins, also a young bunch. But the star that has really shined coming over from Hawaii is Micah Ma'a from the Punahou School, first team All-American and first team All-MPSF. He broke the school rally scoring single season serve mark this year, but he is just more than that. Tremendous cannon of an arm, the national server of the year, both mom and dad, legendary players from Hawaii. So this is just the product of that, and he has jumped into Division I volleyball and starred. For UCLA, they run a 6-2 offense for the first time full-time since 1984. And John Speraw went to this lineup very early on in the season. Jake Arnott, JT Hatcher outside. Martin and Mitch Stahl, very imposing middle blockers. Ma'a with Hagen Smith are the 2 centers. Davis Gillette is the starting libero. Our coaches, both highly respected in this community, including Pete Hansen in his 32nd season, the MEVA Coach of the Year again, the National AVCA Coach of the Year as well. And for Pete Hansen, there was a big team-only meeting early in the year after a loss to Ball State, and they have rallied since that point. They've won 21 in a row. And for UCLA, John Speraw, 4th season as the head coach coming over from Irvine, where he won a national championship. UCLA class of 1995. And for Speraw, he won 3 NCAA titles as a head coach at UC Irvine, 3 titles as an assistant to Al Skates while previously at UCLA, and 2 more as a player for the legendary Hall of Famer Skates back in 93 and 95. So the Bruins, the 2 seed, they'll be the home team. The winner will play Saturday night against the number 1 BYU Cougars. Great crowd assembling into Rec Hall once again tonight. And while we didn't hear them immediately during the BYU match, but the UCLA faithful was very loud in warm-ups. So they are ready to go, trying to cheer the Bruins on, pursuing their 20th NCAA title. UCLA 25-6 on the season. Started off 10-0, their best since 1998. And a young bunch, but John Speraw talked about his high expectations at the start of the season, and this team has even exceeded them. And so has Ohio State. Pete Hansen knew that they would be good, but he thought it was a really rapid improvement to get to this point. The 29 wins by Ohio State, the most in the season since the 1982 team went 30-8. Nicholas Shershin starts us off with the serve. Plow, and outside it goes for Miles Johnson for the swing. And hitting from the back row, J.T. Hatch. And we'll get the point going to UCLA for a touch. So the Bruins jumping out early. Plow outside, Johnson, and he's blocked, a solo block by J.T. Hatch. He's got both points. And UCLA out 2-0. These two teams did play earlier this season, and we'll get into that. And it's a long season that starts in mid-January in Division I, Division II level. Plow outside, the swing, Christian Franceschi, and he'll pick up the kill, the first points for Ohio State. First meeting of the season came right here at Red Hall back on January 7th. UCLA won it in 4 sets. Serve down the middle. Hagen Smith sets it up with a block. Big block, solo block by Miles Johnson, who goes 6'6", playing the right side hitter position. Down the middle, the libero Gillette handled it, but no one went over to range to get the second ball. So Ohio State grabs its first lead with Blake Leeson continuing to serve. So second meeting of the season between these two. And in that first meeting, Miles Johnson only played the very first set, had a sore elbow. So that's a difference maker tonight that Ohio State hopes. And UCLA picks up the kill to get even at 3. And the way Johnson has exploded into a first-team All-American, that by itself has made Ohio State a different team. Also for UCLA, Jake Arnitz did not play that day either. He was named second-team All-American. This ball tipped over the top, handled. Shershin swinging, and dug out in the back by Arnitz. Outside the swing down the line by J.T. Hatch. And that goes out of bounds. Hatch is a 6'1" sophomore from Mesa, Arizona. A very different player than Arnitz, much smaller, but great volleyball IQ. Very unique player. Miles Johnson. Great serve. Handled there by Arnitz. Off the shoulder of Shershin. Tip shot, that will fall. Christian Franceschi. And Ohio State by 2 for the first time. Johnson, jump serve, down the middle. Hagen Smith quickly sets it up. And it's Mitch Stahl for the first time. This is a homecoming for Mitch. He is from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Within an hour's drive here of the Penn State campus, a second-team All-American. Decided to take his abilities to California, as with the service error against Micah Ma'a. Franceschi, he's a senior from Oviedo, Florida, and one of the 5 transfers from the University of Pacific that Ohio State has on their roster after the program was dropped 2 years ago. Ma'a in the middle, and back inside to Jake Arnitz for the kill. So UCLA back within 1. Arnitz, as John Speron described, probably the most improvement any individual has made in his program has come from him. Scherson couldn't handle the serve. UCLA comes up with the ace, and they've tied this first set up at 9. And a surprise from Scherson, who grew up being essentially trained to be a volleyball pro since he was 6 years old in France. Johnson, and Ma'a sets up outside. Good dig there on Arnitz, and Johnson unable to track it down. So UCLA with a 3-0 bounce back to take the lead in this first set. Back to JT Hatch. And he fires one at Scherson, who is having trouble in service receive. So his second error in that part of the game. UCLA by 2 for the first time. Hatch was first team All-State in Arizona, a state that continues to get better in boys volleyball, as Blau goes to get that. Johnson, Ma'a able to dig. Hatch, and then the block inside by Scherson. Well, Pete Hansen talks about his uniqueness as a player. A lot of what he's able to do comes over his tremendous experience over time. He's played more volleyball than any other individual in his age group here in the States. As another service error by Ohio State. So the Bruins again by 2. Here's Mitch Stahl. Stahl 5th in the country in blocks per set. One of the best middles in the country. Very athletic, but he puts this one into the net. So we're at 9-8. You know, especially Stahl with a lot of friends and family here in attendance. Wants a great performance. That swing missed by Arnitz. However, a net violation on Ohio State. And they're going to get the net call against Blake Leeson. 10-8 the score. The down official, Brian Hemmelgarn, with the call. So Hagen Smith. Johnson now on the left. Easy setup, this one put in. Oliver Martin, right down the middle. He's a 6'10" redshirt sophomore from Calabasas, California. And he plays a lot of different roles. He started and played right side, outside hitter different times in his career. Now starting in the middle. Hagen Smith continues. As Blau will get on it, Johnson. Smith. Now Ma'a swinging. Scherson off hands. Then they set it up for Ma'a again, and he hits into the net. So a couple of young stars here tonight just getting their feet wet on this stage. And Micah Ma'a is one of them. Started playing when he was 7 years old. Scherson, what an ace. And that might be the best example of his upbringing. Dad grew up in Poland and was hired by a club team in France to coach, so the family grew up there. They speak 4 languages, and his older sister, Anna, was recruited and played for the Ohio State women's program. And they're all here in attendance tonight as Scherson follows that up with a service error. Anna Shershin played at Ohio State from 06 to 10. Mom, Magdalena, was a club volleyball player in Poland too, before choosing to study medicine. This is a service error into the net. Jake Arnitz, and it's 12-11. Now Blake Leeson, he comes to Ohio State from Wisconsin. Just a redshirt freshman that is oozing with athleticism. Former track and field star. Low dig there by Gillette. From the middle, Arnitz against the block, and Ma'a got the second ball. Chance for the reset. Ohio State, Johnson, and the block out of bounds. So we're tied at 12 after the kill from Miles Johnson. Ohio State could have an advantage in one case because they played here Tuesday night. They had to defeat George Mason, who had a great year in the first round, the play-in round. They did it via a competitive sweep. As there's the third service error already against Ohio State, 13-12. Shershin had 18 kills to lead all players, and George Mason was held to a 187. But all the scores were close. Blau, and inside the swing goes wide. Tris Gessius asking for a touch. And the up official, Wade Brents, disagrees. Shershin, back row attack. And Johnson, roll shot. Smith, good job to get on it. And then the block, Johnson, he has a big advantage in terms of size, matched up against JT Hatch. In this rotation, this could be a tricky one all night for UCLA. There was a double there from Tris Gessius too. As Johnson, and he'll get a break. Third early ace for Ohio State. That gets us even at 14. Johnson again, this time Gillette handles. Ma'a, outside swinging with the left is Hatch. And our officials will hold on a moment. Wade Brents is going to overrule his down official and say this is off of the antenna first. So it's Ohio State with the lead, first to 15. Good first set in our second semifinal on NCAA.com. For the moment, it's 15-14 Ohio State. Let's have a look at the initial part of this play, and it does appear JT Hatch hit the antenna first, followed by Christy Blau's contact. So the officials got it correct. Credit Wade Brents up top in his perch. 15-14 Buckeyes. And Miles Johnson continues. Another good serve and overpass. Blau inside, and there's the finish from Tris Gessius. Now Gessius, this is important for Ohio State. He did not play Tuesday night against George Mason. He had a stomach flu Monday night. Tuesday morning was really sick. So the number 3 middle, Matt Dorn, played a lot. But he's considered a crafty veteran, a redshirt junior. And a 3-year starter in the program. So they're thrilled that he's able to go. Blau inside. This one handcuffing Smith. Hatch. Blau in for Johnson. And Gillette will run it down. Hatch. And the block out of bounds. Oh, Gessius, he had a beat on it. And an important couple of inches there for UCLA. Ohio State hitting 125, UCLA 095, so it's been a struggle for both. Johnson puts it to the back. Back row attack, Sales on Jake Arnitz. So Arnitz, he has swung well here early. He was 4 for his first 6. So he gets a mulligan. But the rest of the Bruins will have to contribute. Christian Franceschi. And service errors for Ohio State are keeping the Bruins hanging around. Now the service line is Hatch. 13 kills against BYU in the MPSF final, but UCLA gives the point back. Hatch has come up through the men's junior national team. Tremendous volleyball IQ and all-around game has pushed him into the starting lineup since day 1 last year. Now to jump it up, Peter Edwards off the bench for Ohio State. And the ball lands in front of him. Mitch Stahl comes up with his second kill. Stahl came from a tall and athletic family. He goes 6'7". Mother Lisa, 6 feet. She played basketball at New Mexico State and would have played volleyball if they'd let her play 2 sports. Stahl's father, Tony, 6'5". Blau, outside Shershin, and a dig by Hatch. Blau went for the joust, and this will land out. So Christy Blau thought he might have had an advantage there, and UCLA has climbed back to even it. This will be Mitch Stahl. Down the line, went right at Demikas, the libero, and the pass wasn't a great one. Blau running out of room. The lead for UCLA, timeout, Ohio State. So another mini response by the Bruins, 3-0. So John Sparaw's team has battled back here. He talked about this team off the MPSF championship. They didn't serve well that day. That's been an area of focus. They had a ton of service errors and a ton of attacking errors. And now following in the footsteps of his coach, Hall of Famer Al Skates, made it very simple about the greatest lesson he took from Al Skates was that you learn to win by surrounding yourself with winners. And there was no big of a winner in men's college volleyball than Al Skates. They have the only 3 unbeaten seasons in the history of the men's game. Al did it back in 79, 82, and 84 before retiring following the 2012 season after a 50-year coaching career. 1,239 victories to make what UCLA is in the men's volleyball game, a consistent national power that has returned this year. And this year's 25-6 mark is the most wins since that 2006 season. Had 26 and won the national championship. So Mitch Stahl will continue. And down the middle at Franceschi, UCLA will have a good swing. On the outside, Arnitz. Shershin and the block against the double. And now the Bruins lead by 2. We get a great look at what Shershin is staring at. Oliver Martin getting help from Hagen Smith. So Stahl, who is a 6'6", 8th grader as he got into volleyball. Shershin, what a tricky shot across National Player of the Year. And Ohio State back within one. Ohio State will bring in Matt Pullman, a fifth-year senior from Scottsdale, Arizona, as a serving specialist. He goes 6'8". And he sends it wide. So the Bruins by 2. Ohio State was able to push ahead a couple of times and lead by 2 in this first set, but never more than that. Now does Hagen Smith, the junior center from Pacific Palisades, California. Blau outside for Johnson. And the Bruins, Arnitz, play at the net. Arnitz again, tip shot over. It went out. So Arnitz could smell that double block sitting on him and decided just to tip. Shershin off net, and it's going to result in an ace. So the Buckeyes even it up. Nicholas Shershin's second ace of this first set. Here's the timeout as Shershin has perhaps another one in him. We'll step out late in the first set. What a good one in our second semifinal. It hasn't been the prettiest of sets. Ohio State narrowly leading UCLA in hitting 0-42 to 0-38. So it's just been a matter of wills and to see who makes less mistakes. Jake Arnitz leads all players with 4 kills, hitting 200. And that's about it. 5 service errors Ohio State, 4 for UCLA. And yet we're tied at 21 in an important first set. Nicholas Shershin. Just 1 kill, but 2 aces on the service line. This one drops, but beyond the line. UCLA will bring on Michael Fisher, the number 3 outside hitter from Hawaii. He's the energy guy off the bench, describes John Speraw. Good service from Arnitz. Inside, and Ma'a will clean it up. UCLA by 2, timeout Ohio State. Ohio State did not get into system. The quick set for Leeson. And UCLA getting the block to lead to the conversion. 23-21. The Bruins come in winners of 12 out of 15. All 3 losses at the hands of number 1 BYU, including a 4-set finish to the Cougars in the MPSF final. The Bruins turned to the 6-2 offense after the first week of the season, experimented with it very, very late in the fall, just a couple of practices, but because of their personnel of Hagen Smith and Micah Ma'a, John Speraw decided to roll the dice. They can both hit and set. It's hard to defend the guessing aspect of it. There are very few Division I or Division II teams that even run it, so that can come as a surprise too. And they were curious to look at the offense. They got big wins early on against George Mason and Penn State, and they've stuck to it. Jake Arnitz. Service error, UCLA. So neither team has really taken this first set by the horns. Ohio State will go to Josh Tublin, a redshirt sophomore libero. He'll come on to serve. Short. And Smith out to Ma'a, and Ma'a pierces the line. So it is set point for UCLA. The block did not cover that line, so Ma'a with his second. And the Bruins will bring in defensive specialist Jackson Bantle into serve. He'll normally bomb away. And he is a lefty. And he goes at Shershin. Shershin, back row attack. Here's the chance for the Bruins. Ma'a, roll shot. Smart. Micah Ma'a. IQ well beyond his young age of a freshman. The Bruins take the first set 25-22. Micah Ma'a, first team All-American freshman with the last 2 kills for the Bruins. Rec Hall, campus of Penn State In-State College. Tremendous facility and venue to host this event. Number one, the high ceiling has to be mandatory for this level when you see the way these tremendous players at this late stage of the game can bomb away, and the high balls that are unaffected, and the great lighting too. Just a tremendous venue to sit and watch. There is not a bad seat in the house. I have the best one being courtside. But really, there's not a spot where you would say that you're obstructed. Just a tremendous facility that I'm sure is going to host many more volleyball championships and gymnastics, wrestling regionals, and so on. UCLA taking the first set 25-22. They ended up hitting 138, Ohio State 038. Underway in the second, and not a great swing. Blake Leeson was just a touch off from his setter, Christy Plow. Blau is trying to generate this offense. He's a second-team All-American center and a 3-year starter, trying to ignite it. But the Buckeyes, just 5 kills in that entire first set. And Hagen Smith is going to help them by giving him a service error. So 6 errors apiece. 7 total aces so far, and Nicholas Shershin has 2 of them. Off tape. Smith. Out it comes Arnitz. Redirected across for the swing for Franceschi, who is stuffed. He brought it into some trees there, namely Oliver Martin. So Martin with his second block of the night. Arnitz has upped his hitting percentage almost 100 points. Service error, and that's what part of the reason what prompts John Sparrow to call him the most improved player off of last year at 6'7". Improved his passing a lot, and they tinkered with his mechanics. And Arnitz, just a sophomore, is going to be a real anchor for this program. He gets the back row set, but the block inside. So the Buckeyes had a double waiting on him. Arnitz still leads all players with just 4 kills. And Leeson across. Getting it back was J.T. Hatch. So UCLA is evening it up. J.T. Hatch, a couple kills, but hit negative numbers in the first set. And if UCLA can get some production from him, what a difference that would make. And John Sparrow still says this team's area of improvement, as we get the block out of bounds on Franceschi for the kill, there is still a great area of improvement for this offense. Their hitting percentage has increased over the season, having both setters in the 6-2, but he's felt that it can take a while to get into a rhythm for UCLA. Ma'a. Oh, and he is able to paint that back line. "6'3" freshman, and he could do it all. Serves down the middle. Franceschi, Arnitz went for that ball. And here comes a free ball for the Buckeyes. Tied at 4. Back row attack, Shershin. He missed the line. So Nicholas Shershin still with 1 kill in the early going second set. And for the Buckeyes, you know that must change. And Ma'a commits the service error. Ma'a has at least 1 ace in 26 of the 31 matches to date. 7 matches this year with more than 2. Arnitz handled that. That might have been ticketed for out of bounds. And Hatch up there by Johnson. Across Shershin. And Gillette with the up. All the way across, Shershin. Hatch, and this is into the antenna first. So the long battle pulled out by Ohio State. What a ball that was by Christy Blau all the way across court to give Shershin a chance. Franceschi. And now Hagen-Smith swinging, and the block goes out. And while Smith doesn't get as many swings as Micah Ma'a, they will still set him to fully execute the purpose of a 6-2 offense, having both setters being able to swing and set. Johnson down the line, and Gillette on it. Arnitz, he got a good set. J.T. Hatch puts it out of bounds. So while the Bruins took the first set 25-22, we have not seen either team get in any kind of rhythm yet. Good low service by Franceschi, then fading away to put that down is Shershin. Another great shot. You could see Nicholas Shershin's experience coming out in several of his shots. And he never really entertained any other thoughts about going elsewhere in the U.S. besides Ohio State. As there's Mitch Stahl the kill because of his sister's great experience playing for the program several years earlier. Now Stahl, who had considered Penn State and Ohio State in his recruiting process, and his finalists. Down the middle, there's the swing by Johnson. Arnitz. And Blau outside Shershin. That's into a triple block, and that went underneath. So Christy Blau. And a great back set. That's Hagen Smith from the line. And that's one of the few sets in this match where the 6-2 gives you a clear advantage. You're just not expecting Hagen Smith to do what he just did. A 6-foot setter that went up and swung, and there was nobody covering it, of course, as he gives the ball back. So this second set going a lot of the way the first set did. Neither team hitting a great percentage. It's been a grind. Shershin. Hagen Smith now setting up for Ma'a. He thought he had a touch. So Ohio State here surging, and I use that word in quotes, but they push ahead by 2. Shershin, now softer. Ma'a, that was strong. So a much better second set from Micah Ma'a. He got the last 2 kills of the first, and that seems like it's gotten him going. Both he and Hagen Smith have 8 assists apiece. As Arnitz drops it in. And Franceschi, that's out of bounds. There was a touch, so Ohio State back by 2. They led by 2 several times in the first set, but never were able to build on it, and that cost them. The Bruins twice responded with 3-0 runs, and eventually the last run. Hatch. JT Hatch the kill. So he's up to 4. And building on those numbers to get out of the negatives. The UCLA will take that. When he gets going offensively, particularly serving, John Sperall notes how unique a player he is. Johnson, that's off hands. Well, let's see, the antenna is the call first. So here the Bruins right back as they were in the first set, responding each time it appeared Ohio State had built momentum. As Oliver Martin serves. Franceschi, there was no cover. Great decision by Blau to set him up. Hagen Smith, and there getting the call is Mitch Stahl. Stahl with his 4th kill. Great extension. The athleticism when he gets his service going. Sperall can't take him off the court. And Ma'a, his service game has not been going tonight. That is already his 3rd service error for the nation's top server. There's a blasted serve by Franceschi. Hagen Smith, and just all off on everything. 15-13, again the Buckeyes hit 15 first. It did not help him in the first set. Now they needed to help him in the second. 1-0 Bruins on NCAA.com. Give me number 13, White. Bushy hair. Oh, looks like they have an in-house camera feed too. Normally it's just ours, right? They have an in-house, yeah. 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 Wow. Just, I mean, talk about next. It's a different world. Of course. Of course. That's just amazing. Can you imagine that? Fiber. Let's see. And did you see they have that room, the Student Broadcasting Center, like right next to the hospitality room? Amazing. So Ohio State has grabbed the lead, their latest at 15-13, but there's Micah Ma'a. Mixed results so far, 5 kills, 8 assists, but 3 service errors. Ma'a, 4-time national co-winner of Freshman of the Week awards this season. And we have a line call against Ohio State on the serve. So talk about inauspicious errors. And it'll go right back to JT Hatch. Down the middle, attacking the libero, Demikas. Arnett's across, Demikas got it. And Johnson getting a swing. To turn it around in transition, Arnett's net violation goes on Ohio State. Well, this is quickly becoming a replay of the first set. Each time the Buckeyes appear like they've put together a string of good play, something occurs where UCLA will quickly tie it up, or depending on this point, take the lead. As Shershin, a joust to block again as he challenged Stahl. Shershin, this time against a one-on-one, and Gillette got it. Down the middle, Shershin. This one will pop out. Who got the point? The up official, Wade Brents. There's been no signal yet. And he is going to call this an inadvertent whistle. It appeared like it should be the Bruins' point. There was both contacts there between Stahl and Christy Blau. So we'll do it again at 15. Shershin, good ball to the front. Miles Johnson converts. And for Johnson, that is just his second kill. And he is still in negative numbers. So multiple award winners and All-Americans so far in this second set have struggled. He started all 3 years, but this year is a right side. Pete Hansen just asking him to focus on offense. As that's Arnett's missing badly down the line. Yet another opportunity for the Buckeyes to lead by 3. And Gessius goes at Gillette. Arnett's, it's an overpass. Ma'a, inside, slam dunk, Micah inside Stahl. And Ma'a gave him the short ball. Inside, that's Blake Leeson the kill. And Leeson did not get all of it. A break for Ohio State. Leeson has been trying to connect with his center, Christy Blau. Ma'a, nice setup for Arnitz. Net violation, Ohio State. And Ma'a right now taking the lead here in his sets for UCLA. Inside this time, much more emphasis, Blake Leeson. So consecutive kills for the 6'7" redshirt freshman from Wisconsin. And this is where the Buckeyes can pull ahead. Finally in rotation, they lead by 2, and the player of the year, Nicholas Shershin, to serve. And he uncorked a great one. But there's the conversion, Oliver Martin. All started with the perfect pass by J.T. Hatch. And the Bruins will bring back Bantle here for Arnitz. Bantle, a former lefty baseball pitcher before discovering volleyball later on at the high school. So he comes in to bomb away with the left hand. 20-18 following the miss. And now for the Buckeyes, they go to their serving sub. Transfer from Pacific, Peter Edwards. An aggressive spin server. Goes at Hatch, a little off balance. Hatch getting it back. Hatch again, off hands. The multi-talented sophomore from Mesa, Arizona. UCLA returns Mike Fisher here to play in the front row, replacing Hatch here for a block. Fisher goes 6'9", much more physical, or 6'3", I should say. Outside Franceschi, it might have worked. There was a triple block waiting. Mitch Stahl in the middle of it. So the Bruins once again not going away. They came back and perhaps stole the first set 25-22. How evened up the second at 20. Johnson, this one pinballs off of Martin. Free ball for Ohio State. Blau quickly inside, an overpass, and a free ball for Ohio State. Fisher the swing. Neither team in system. Shershin, and they get a block on the back row attack. The Bruins again take the lead. UCLA 21-20 late in the second. The Bruins upping their numbers to 241. They have just found ways, and Ohio State has not. The Buckeyes still hitting under 100 late in the second set. And they were the team that had the chance to get into a rhythm by playing here Tuesday night against George Mason, where the Buckeyes hit 397. And Ohio State held Mason to 187, and the number is very down. Latest track at 061 for Ohio State. UCLA at 236. 7 kills for Jake Arnitz to lead all players. Christian Franceschi leads the Buckeyes with 5. And the National Player of the Year, Nicholas Shershin, has been held to 3, hitting triple zeros. Oliver Martin, 6'10", middle blocker, hit the serve. Outside Franceschi, and this block narrowly landing out of bounds. Even at 21. Oliver Martin, great to have him back on the floor for UCLA. Did not play much against BYU in the MPSF final. A little bit of a back scare, so he sat out as a precaution. Hatch, roll shot, covered there by Johnson. Nice play. And the block again. This has been some kind of set for Mitch Stahl. So his homecoming has gone well. Blau, Johnson outside. Back to Christian Franceschi. We went 25-22 in the first set. A similar kind of a finish looming like here in the second. An overpass and eventually put down. Tris Gessius eventually puts it away. Timeout, UCLA. So the Buckeyes climbing back. After trailing 21-20, another good tug of war in this second set. We're back for the finish on NCAA.com. UCLA at 232 hitting, including in this second set, swinging at 333. But they trail Ohio State by 1. The Buckeyes have gotten respectable in terms of percentages, up to 148. They hit 038 and only lost by 3 in the first. So it has been very difficult for both sides to get into a rhythm, any sustained consistency. It's been a grind. Mitch Stahl, though, has come alive. 3 block assists in the match. 5 kills, hitting .833 from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, rural PA, about an hour outside of State College. Ma'a, back row attack for Arnitz. Here's the chance for the Buckeyes. Johnson, down the line, and he got Ma'a. So Ohio State finally a chance. Final timeout, UCLA. 24-22 Buckeyes. They had an opportunity to pull away in the first set, could not do it. And they get the big swing from Miles Johnson, which is another great development. That is his 4th kill. Johnson was in the negative numbers for so long. And Johnson has 3 of his 4 in this second set. Earlier today, in case you weren't with me, the BYU Cougars, #1 seed, they took care of Long Beach State in 4 sets. The first 2 very competitive before the Cougars, from a well-rounded standpoint, came alive, and they took advantage of a lot of Long Beach State mistakes, whether it was on the service line, communication, and missed opportunities. And each time the Cougars would bury those in the second and third set, and then eventually they'd run away with the 4th. So the Buckeye fans on their feet. It is set point. Christian Franceschi, the senior, lining up very deep. Second year in the program, a first-year starter. Great service at Arnitz. Smith swinging. Here's the chance for the Buckeyes. Blau, it's Scherson. He got a touch. And the set for Ohio State. by an identical score of 25-22. The Buckeyes got the chance. They turn to the player of the year. A pivotal third set when we get back to Penn State on NCAA.com. We welcome you back here to University Park, Pennsylvania, campus of Penn State, for this 2016 Men's National Collegiate Volleyball Championship. Division 1 and 2s combined here for this level. Ralph Bednarczyk with you on NCAA.com. Our second semifinal is even at one set apiece. UCLA 25-22, Ohio State 25-22. Ohio State up to 127 hitting, UCLA 224. Nicholas Shershin, and he misses to start the third set with an error. So at 1-0, Shershin's numbers: 4 kills, 071, 2 aces, 3 service errors for the National Player of the Year, the first one in Buckeyes history, named at the banquet Thursday night. Ma'a here for Arnitz. And offhand, Shershin, not a great touch. He'll have to give this up as a free ball. Smith in for Arnitz, and it will fall. Jake Arnitz now up to 8 kills for the second-team All-American. Had 12 kills, hit .429 against BYU in the MPSF final. He was one of the few Bruins that was consistent. Error by UCLA, and for UCLA, that number is starting to jump out off the page. 3 aces, 13 service errors. Here's Blake Leeson now for Ohio State. Oliver Martin, and he has another kill. That's his 3rd. So he's produced good numbers for the Bruins. Back has been fine. He was a second-team All-American coming out of high school, class of 2013. Johnson, double block, was awaiting him. And then a quick set into Stahl. Well, a little bit less hitch from Mitch Stahl and swing. That was more punchy. 4-1. Mitch Stahl's blocking's been on point. Now he's got 6 kills. Down the line at Demikas. And Shershin with the back row attack. So Shershin trying to find his game tonight. As Pete Hansen noted, he needs a couple of big nights here at Penn State for the Buckeyes to achieve their goal of a national championship. Great service from Johnson, and it will land in the seats. So for Ohio State, their 5th ace of the night. And Miles Johnson would be in that same mix. They've narrowed his focus. Brings great serving, can be very streaky good. And he tried to go down the line. So we're at 5-3. And Ma'a, well, you know, when Ma'a is just not in rhythm serving, the stage has perhaps affected players on both teams. Nobody on either side that has appeared on this stage before. Certainly at the high school level, club national championships at the beach, but this is different as Shershin knocks down the overpass. That is his 5th kill. And Franceschi targets Arnitz. And Hagen Smith all out of whack. No touch And the Buckeyes pull in front. Franceschi closed out the second set with great serving. Had 9 kills Tuesday night against George Mason. But it continues, 6-all. Hatch giving it right back. It's been contagious. You see? Points back and forth, 3 consecutive service errors between the two teams. We're tied up at 7 early in this pivotal third set. The #1 BYU Cougars await in Saturday night's championship match. Across finally landing a serve in. It was Mitch Stahl, but this shot missing by Leeson. Out of bounds. It's 8-7. And Stahl goes back to right where we left off earlier. 8 apiece. Just as the first and second sets were decided, all it's taken is one small run. Ma'a out to Hagen Smith. And Hagen back in, and he was not on the same page with Oliver Martin. And which coach in this third set might use an early timeout to try to settle his team? So far, the score hasn't warranted it. Arnitz. And the kill, 9-all. So already the 5th tie of the third set. Blau, Miles Johnson. That time he's able to really get his swing back. Johnson out of La Costa Canyon High School. He started throughout his career. Had 16 kills against Lewis in the MIVA final. And can he step up as Oliver Martin and the dig out of bounds off of Gabriel Demikas. So we continue to exchange points. The only trend has been service errors. Johnson did get credited for a touch. He had a smile on his face, and I think he felt he got a mulligan. Smile from Wade Brents, too, who was enjoying himself at the top of his perch as our up official. But in a set like this, you will take any point that you may earn. There's been certainly a lot given away. Hatch, and he'll smash it off of Will Johnson. Or rather off Miles Johnson. So credit that. I guess just as justified. Short service by Martin. And Blau out to Scherson. Classic back row attack. Just a heavy arm, and we have not seen him be in that zone that Coach Pete Hansen described he can go into and do some incredible things. Serves well. Passing has been mostly solid. Here's Hatch, and this one that Demikas couldn't get. We're tied at 12. Wow, this one inside. And Gessius eventually finishes what he started. Tris Gessius goes 6'8". Was a National Freshman of the Year as a middle blocker, but a lot of injuries over his career had slowed him down, including the stomach flu Tuesday night. Franceschi at the service. Here's Arnitz. And we had a net violation anyway, so we are retied. Blau returns it to Scherson, and the overpass. Blau looks for Johnson. Those are the two big guns for Ohio State. 14-13 as we continue to exchange points. It's Gessius, good serve. Inside, here's the opportunity. They dig stall, Scherson, the block out of bounds. And finally, someone grabs a 2-point lead. And it's the Buckeyes for all three sets, reaching 15, and the media timeout first. The Buckeyes dig stall, leaving it up to Scherson. It's been a struggle for both sides, but Ohio State has the 15-13 lead in this third set. We return here to State College. Ralph Bednarczyk with you on NCAA.com. And Ohio State finally, after endless back and forth of the Buckeyes leading by one, only to be retied. And now they get an ace. So now this feels like a monster. It's a 3-point lead for the Buckeyes. An ace from Tris Gessius. Another good serve unloaded. Arnitz. Joust to the net. Might have been a lift call, but then the block anyway with Blake Leeson. Well, now this feels like a mountain to John Sperong. UCLA will use the timeout. 4-point lead for the Buckeyes. All during the service of Tris Gessius, number 4 there in front of you. Just a crafty veteran. And there was a question whether or not he'd start here tonight. He was a second-team All-American as a freshman, the only freshman that year to be an All-American and the newcomer of the year. Tremendous international experience coming out of Loyola High School, native of Pasadena. But the injuries have slowed him down a bunch in his career, but healthy enough tonight. All it was a stomach flu. You never know what kind of food you eat in a different place. But he is healthy and going. He has not sat out one rotation. And now Ohio State with a commanding lead of 4. I think that is just, to use that terminology, the way this has gone. We have had 9 ties in this third set. The Bruins continue to find ways to hang around. Jake Arnitz has 10 kills, but the service line has hurt UCLA. Now they've piled up to 16 service errors, just 3 aces. And I think UCLA serving, while being aggressive, has not really impacted or slowed down Ohio State. So Gessius down the middle, another impactful serve. Hatch, and this will go off of Johnson. And that was a uppable ball for Johnson, and he knew it. So Mitch Stahl. Scherson, oh, a smash. Cross court that even knocked down Stahl. Whoa, faster than he can even react to. Hatch, and then a block by Leeson. And Ohio State with the largest lead of either team tonight. The Buckeyes pushing it to 5. Second timeout, John Speraw and the Bruins. We'll step away. The Buckeyes trying to take a 2-1 lead. Some energy back in the building at Rec Hall. Ohio State, after forcing a timeout at 17-13, now they lead by 5 late in the third. They dropped the first set where they had opportunities at 22-20 before UCLA eventually was able to tie it and then take it 25-22. The Buckeyes responded. They didn't squander the second and trying to finish off the third. Christy Blau will be the center. He got the name Christy from birth because his great-grandfather died just before he was born. He was named Christian. They decided to go with Christy for him. Quick response for UCLA, 19-15. Now Hagen Smith, second-generation Bruin. Johnson, and the up by Gillette. Arnett's got it, a joust, and Ma'a hitting. And we had a whistle. And the ball went around the antenna. Oh, hang on a moment. They will rule and say, the up official, Wade Brents, will say the ball was played in an area considered not on the floor. Scherson. Another awesome serve, but then the put down. Oliver Martin got the quick one ball. Error by Arnett. As the Buckeyes inch closer, they'll turn to serving specialist Peter Edwards. He's bought into this role. All the Pacific transfers have a good role for this team. The domino effect began following the end of that program, but he'll put it out of bounds. Certainly the Pacific players know about the UCLA program very well. Edwards from Walnut Creek, California. This will be Jackson Bantle, and the Bruins need something from him. Again, the lefty, again, Ohio State out of system. Blau across, he couldn't. Into Triscesius. And the big man has had a great third set. UCLA has used both timeouts. Matching the largest lead of the match for the Buckeyes. Inside, and a must-needed kill for Mitch Stahl. Off another service error by UCLA, 23-18. Here's Kristen Franceschi. Gives it back. This is what the second set looked like, full of service errors. Now Hatch. Wow. And Johnson able to drop it in. So here's the opportunity for the Buckeyes. They were able to pull away, force a timeout at 17-13, and they have set point in the third. This will be 6'6" senior Alex Judkins in. He's a relief pitcher that comes on as a serving specialist. A good one. Ma'a. And they dig stall. The chance for the Buckeyes. Johnson getting the call. Hatch with the up. Arnitz keeps the third set going. Stahl. The chance, Leeson, and the dig in the back row. Tip shot by Arnitz. And a free ball given back. Ma'a inside for Martin. Dig there by Johnson. It'll be Shershin. And Ma'a got down to get it. Arnitz, that one drilling, Demikas. And this will land out. UCLA wins a tough test. Mitch Stahl continues. Set point number 3 for Ohio State. Challenges the libero. Inside, Leeson, there it is. Ohio State shook off a very difficult early third set. Eventually put together a run. They finish off UCLA in the third. 25-21. We return for the fourth in a moment on NCAA.com. So the fourth set about to begin. Can the Ohio State Buckeyes return to the national final? They last appeared there in 2011 where they won it here at Penn State, knocking off Cal Santa Barbara in 5. UCLA, they'll need to climb out of a 2-1 hole and appear in their first final since 2006. In that third set, UCLA did hit 458. Ohio State, though, hit 545. So a much different tone compared to our first, I'd say, set and a half, where the offense was at a struggle. Particularly with both teams running into service error runs. Nobody can get any consistent swings going and build any momentum. So here's the fourth set, Hagen-Smith. And serves it short at Demikas. Nicholas Shershin. Outside, and Michael Ma'a block. But on the Ohio State side, 1-0. For Ma'a, his 6th kill. He's filled up the stat sheet. 17 assists, 7 digs, but 5 errors by Ma'a. No aces. Hagen-Smith continues. Johnson and Martin able to get that block. Smith quickly in transition, leaves it for Martin. So the Bruins have come out here with a lot of energy. The body language much different. And Hagen-Smith set it up. Hagen-Smith was named in honor of beach volleyball legend and UCLA graduate Ron Von Hagen. He's the Babe Ruth, they say, of modern beach volleyball. Spent 17 years playing on the beach. Miles Johnson, and he gets the Buckeyes on the board. So the Buckeyes will put up their top server, Nicholas Shershin. Nice chat with Nicholas beforehand. His family is in from France. And as I confirmed his last name, as he dials up an ace, he makes it 2-all. Most of the states have anglicized his name. Me being of Polish descent, I knew exactly the way it should sound. And fortunately, the PA announcer here at Penn State also very good. So Shershin here with the jump serve. And he stepped across the line. But his family is here from France watching him in person. So he was thrilled about that, saying, finally, they get a chance to see me. Sister Anna is in the stands, and I believe at least one of his parents is here. Now an ace for UCLA. So the Bruins up at 4-2 with Arnitz getting the ace. For the Bruins, just their 4th of the night. However, you kind of expected another error could be looming. So UCLA with 19 of those in the 4-set loss to BYU. Again, it's worth repeating. The Bruins had 27 service errors in that MPSF final. An overpass. Blau inside the block by Martin. He stops Jesus inside. So Martin will continue. And UCLA looks like a different team in this 4th set. Demikas, nice bump set for Johnson, and great dig in the up there by Hagen Smith, and it leads to JT Hatch's kill. Give a ton of credit there to Hagen Smith, who reacted so quickly to dig a difficult ball. Blau outside, Johnson gets it back. So Miles Johnson, after a difficult start, he's up to 10 kills. He is the first Buckeye into double digits. Jake Arnitz has 12 to lead UCLA. Seven four, Micah Ma'a. Franceschi. The officials look around and confirm there was no touch. 8-4 Bruins with a lot of energy. And Ohio State coach Pete Hansen realizes that he'll use the early timeout. We'll step away. UCLA trying to force a 5th. This has been a battle all night. 2-1, Ohio State with the lead. 8-4 UCLA in the 4th. But UCLA came out and looked like they got a jump start, a boost for Coach John Sparrow between the 3rd and 4th set. Shershin, big swing that Ma is able to get a good ball up on. And Hagen Smith hitting and gets the kill. Hagen Smith, you know this means a lot to him. His dad, Sinjin, UCLA class of '87, was an All-American center for Coach Al Skates. John Sparrow has known Hagen since he was just a young, very, very young setter. Miles Johnson to kill. 9-5. Franceschi. He and Shershin have been excellent servers tonight. Very consistent throughout. Hatch across Hagen Smith. Good run up, and there wasn't much of a block. Sinjin His dad is in the UCLA Hall of Fame, a '96 Olympian, a legend on the beach. Ma'a inside, Stahl one-handed up there. Miles Johnson, how about that? And then Johnson pierces the back line. A very cash one hand up by Johnson set it up. Arnitz, there's a nice dig by Gabriel Dominguez. Free ball though, had to be given up. Ma'a, and then this time Stahl, it's not coming back. So Mitch Stahl with 8 kills. He is pushing 700 on this night with very good defense too. Shershin off hands. Arnitz on the outside and blocked there. Dris Jesus. So we go to 10-8. UCLA stormed out with a 4-point lead a couple of times in this 4th set. And Ma'a, and he kind of tied up Stahl. Maybe trying to be a little too fancy or creative with the set. Looked like Stahl had plenty of time there for a high ball. And Jesus gives it back. UCLA returns to a 2-point edge. And Stahl, you can see that problem from the moment he ran up. And whether it's been nervousness or UCLA just trying to do too much on so many of their services, but they're up to 20 errors. Arnitz. And Shershin off hands, and out of the reach of Ma'a. So the Buckeyes have made that 4-point deficit a distant memory. Floater by Blau. Ma'a for Martin, and it eventually will fall for him. The Bruins back in front. It's been a good night for Oliver Martin. A first-year starter, he had redshirted, and he's improved a lot. Give John Sparrow a lot of credit for the work they've done with their middles in particular. Leeson and Martin, the one-on-one block. Now Hagen-Smith. Shershin hitting off the line, still got a great swing. And Hatch can only push it, but Blau kind of had setting on his mind and just didn't get the ball clean. Hagen-Smith and Shershin, not a great first ball, but Johnson got a great swing. Smith, what a set for Ma'a. Off hands, and that was an intense rally won by the Buckeyes. Some great action there. And you notice the arm swing that Ma'a has. Just a volleyball phenom Both parents playing for the great Dave Shoji at Hawaii. Leeson off hands, and that's in. So Ohio State will not go away. And they have risen to the occasion the way the Bruins did early. Smith out to Arnitz. This ball upped, and Shershin tracks it down. And a little bit tight, but it went over. Smith into Martin. Termination. So this is the best Oliver Martin has played tonight. He is up to 9 kills quickly, and that'll put him over 800. And Arnitz, too long. Most coaches some will say they frankly ignore the service errors number. But some will say it gets to a point where it is too much. You need a good ratio. And there's one given right back by Christy Blau. Make it 16-14. Right now, UCLA at a 1-4 ratio. 4 aces, 21 service errors. 7-16 for Ohio State. Much better numbers. There's a great cross court from Johnson. Well, you can see the skill that Miles Johnson has. He was playing in the back row a year ago as a back row passer and hitter. Now it's just offense. He has blossomed. Ma'a and Shershin. This will come near side. Second ball. Third ball over. What hustle by Ohio State. Ma'a. And the Bruins will have to really earn it. Ma'a in. And eventually does Mitch Stahl. Well, that would have been really interesting. John Sperall was out nearly to the floor, wondering if that ball was still on the floor of play. Gassus, not a great swing. Hatch, he got that touch. Here the Bruins by 3. This is their chance. Timeout, Ohio State. The Bruins want to force a 5th in this national semifinal. So we've gotten to enjoy this match after a struggle for both teams, getting into some sustained rhythm. But it's turned out to be high-quality volleyball over the last set and a half. In this 4th set, Ohio State saw UCLA jump out and lead by 4, forcing an early timeout. And the Buckeyes have matched that intensity. And now UCLA pulling back ahead. We were tied at last look at 11. The Bruins hitting .333 in this 4th. And Ma'a, what a challenging service, and it lands out. Wow, a precision serve. And finally, we've seen a great glimpse of what Ma'a can do on the service line. That's a spectacular ace. The libero, Gabriel Dominguez, had no chance. But it only ends up in exchange of points. Hatch. This block lands out. It appeared from where I was sitting, maybe it caught net only, but the official is even closer than I am. 20-16 for JT Hatch, his 12th kill. That'll put him over 200 for the night. Into the corner, Shershin didn't react quickly to it. Swings to the back. Stahl puts it in the corner. This is the largest lead of the night for UCLA. The Buckeyes have already used their pair of timeouts. Shershin, and just all out of rhythm there. Shershin this time got better elevation. And you can see the difference. He quickly smashes it to make it a 5-point deficit, but it's late in this fourth set. Peter Edwards on to serve for Ohio State. Arnitz, he gets the call. UCLA inches closer. The lead back to 6. Mitch Stahl, 9th all-time career block list at UCLA. Some of the very best names in the sport are there. As Nicholas Shershin, consecutive kills to make it 23-18. And Shershin now up to 12. Blau, though, with the ace, with the error rather. So here is set point of the fourth for UCLA. The Bruins fans stand. We're on the verge of a 5th set. Aiken-Smith on the approach. And across, great shot again, cross court from Miles Johnson. Now Shershin. And Davis Gillette couldn't handle that. Fourth ace for Nicholas Shershin. Timeout UCLA here to make sure in serve receive. The nation's player of the year. It's been an up and down night, but you can see the talent is there, just a sophomore. And he considered pursuing his education more important than turning pro. Coming to America was his choice to follow his older sister Anna, who was in attendance watching tonight, after she finished her Ohio State career in the fall of 2010. Nicholas Shershin now 12 kills, hitting .267. And what a player he's going to be. Recently accepted into the mechanical engineering major at Ohio State. This crowd tonight has seen a lot of volleyball. The first match went to BYU in 4 sets over Long Beach State. The first 2 were close. Long Beach State taking the second before BYU really putting together strong volleyball and just capitalized on the Long Beach State mistakes and eventually demoralized the young 49ers. And start 3 seniors. Overall, not a ton of experience in the lineup for the Beach. In this one, maybe inexperience factored in with Nobody in either roster having ever reached this level of the NCAA tournament. So Shershin awaits the green light. Still set point for the Bruins. Martin, it was blocked, but that's the finish. So UCLA quickly able to force a fifth set. So this is it. Two teams that have really battled one another and battled themselves for consistent, steady volleyball. They'll have to decide it in a fifth set in the national semifinals. That's coming up next on NCAA.com. Ohio State and UCLA will decide this one in a fifth set. Who will play against BYU in Saturday night's championship match? We've alternated set wins with UCLA grabbing the fourth, 25-20. It's win by 2 and first to 15. We'll change over after the first team hits 8. Nicholas Shershin, line drive right at Hatch. Michael Ma'a starts outside and makes it 1-0 Bruins. The fourth set for UCLA was strong. They hit 440. Ohio State at 280. Arnitz down the middle and another service error. Both teams at points tonight could not get out of their own ways. 23 service errors UCLA. An improvement in the MPSF final compared to the 27 in 4 sets against BYU. Ohio State 18 service errors. They have piled them up going back to the fourth set. Smith, Ma'a, and this will land on the other side. Ma'a with 2 quick kills. So Ma'a up to 8. And Martin. Oh boy, and you could just hear the collective groan of the crowd. Both Ohio State points in the fifth set have been gifts. Josh Tublin just came in to serve. That was, or I should say 13, Miles Johnson, to correct myself. But that gives it back to the Bruins. This time, Ma'a shows how it's done. So does Shershin. Brilliant back row attack. And Franceschi, maybe his best serve, he unloaded. Smith just pushes it down. 4-3 Bruins. And Hagen Smith, as this night has gone on, he has swung more and more. I think he was quiet in terms of attempts in the first set. As Hatch, short float serve. Johnson, some oomph behind it, tied at 4. $17 for Miles Johnson. He leads the Buckeyes. Nicholas Shershin with 13. Meanwhile, for the UCLA Bruins, 4 players now in double-figure kills. Ma'a and Arnitz, great cross-court shot. Here's Mitch Stahl. Good short service. Shershin and the solo block. Whoa, that's Hagen Smith. And looking for the back corner was Stahl. So that pauses that momentum for a moment. And now a block inside. UCLA pushes the lead to 7-5 as we near the changeover. The Bruins appearing determined here on their side of the court. Johnson, we had the whistle. And Johnson stepped across the line in his dismount. 8-5 UCLA at the changeover. A thrilling finish when we get back to Happy Valley. High energy in this fifth set of this national semifinal. UCLA jumping out to the 8-5 lead, and Hagen Smith continues the service. Miles Johnson and Gillette got on a great ball, but it had to be free balled over. Shershin past Jake Arnitz, 8-6. In terms of fifth setters, UCLA 4-1 on the year. Lone loss against Irvine in Pauley Pavilion. Ohio State 3-2 in five setters, losses to Ball State and McMaster. Ma'a, great return. Arnitz, here's an overpass. Hagen Smith, Ma'a. It's wide. And the Buckeyes respond within one. And we got a great look at it. You saw Christy Blau making sure he did not get even a hair on it. Here's the timeout, UCLA. The Bruins, they've won 12 of 15. The Buckeyes, winners of 21 in a row. Ranked second in the AVCA Final Poll, preseason number 6. UCLA number 3. And someone is going to appear in Saturday night's final against BYU. Ohio State has been there 3 times, 2011, most recently 2000 and 1977. UCLA, well, they own a men's volleyball national best 19 championships, but they haven't won one since 2006. Early numbers, 571 hitting for UCLA as they started out 5 of 5 in this fifth set. Ohio State 167. But you can kind of throw out the numbers. This comes out to executing, making a play, toughness, hustle, and mental fortitude. Out of the UCLA timeout, Shershin, great service at Gillette. Arnitz down the line, the ball up by Demikas. And Shershin swinging. Martin setting for Arnitz. He drops it in front of Blau. Nine, 7 Bruins. They've led by as many as in this fifth set. Biggest number was 3 at 8-5. Here's Jackson Bantle off the bench. Blau sets it up for Shershin. Big step for the back row attack. Here's Peter Edwards for Ohio State. Turns it over well. One-handed set in by Martin. Point Ohio State, they'll call a lift on UCLA. John Sperall wondering on whom. I believe it was Oliver Martin. It's a big call, the tied at 9. Up official Wade Brents made the signal. As we have a look at it. Well, it would have to have been on the center, Hagen Smith, from that standpoint, compared to Martin's swing. Great serve there by Edwards. Free ball Buckeyes. Blau across Johnson. Would you believe it? The Buckeyes lead in the 5th set. Timeout UCLA. We'll step out. We'll have the thrilling finish to a 5th set in a national semifinal. 10-9 Ohio State. They've climbed out of a 5th set 3-point hole at 8-5. And it's been a microcosm of this entire night. Each time one of these teams appeared like they'd really take hold of a set, the other has responded. And we've had teams simply outlasting one another in these sets. Largest margin of victory in a set was 4 in the 3rd by Ohio State. Peter Edwards just had a sensational serve. Now the Buckeyes lead. Another good one at Arnitz. Smith out to Hatch. JT Hatch with 13 kills. UCLA evens it up. And the 6'10" Oliver Martin deep. Blau, Johnson, he got a touch. And the executed side out for Ohio State. And now the first team All-American will drift back. Smith, Ma'a, fought off by Johnson. Across for Hatch, one-on-one, and Blau got the block. The Buckeyes by 2. We've had setters on both ends come up with primetime blocks. But then we've had a lot of that. 20th service error on Ohio State, as Johnson tried to make it really tough. UCLA brings back Mike Fisher for Hatch for a bigger block. Micah Ma'a. Joust to the top, and this one just catches the line. The redirection by Christy Plow. Let's watch Blau here. Yes, indeed. Big serve by Franceschi. And then Arnitz puts it between a couple of Ohio State players. JT Hatch. Shershin handling, Blau out to Johnson, and then the big block by Stahl. UCLA reties it in the 5th. Timeout, Ohio State. On and on we go. Mitch Stahl has been a steady presence all night for UCLA. I think he got both hands on that last one. So quite apropos that we were headed into the final points of this 5th set and still nothing decided between these two teams. An extremely thin margin of error all night. Fifth set swinging, UCLA at 333, Ohio State 333. Pete Hansen used the timeout for the Buckeyes. His team quickly back out there. JT Hatch, he'll continue. Again at Shershin. He gets it back from a tough angle. Second ball, played across. Blau here for Johnson. The redirection, Franceschi gets on it. And a free ball played across. Smith in, out of bounds. And the Bruins lead. Final timeout, Ohio State. What a rally. I'm not 100% certain during that sequence that Ohio State had to give up the free ball as we see the whole thing play out. Shershin from a very difficult angle. That's 1, 2, 3. Off the head, that would be 2. And that's why I think Blau, because it went off the head of his teammate, he didn't risk anything and gave up a free ball. So Christy Blau able to notice that to his right. The Bruins having a match point, and they'll have service as the Buckeyes huddled very quickly out of the timeout. Brief words by the National Coach of the Year, Peter Hansen. And the Bruins trying to climb out of a 2-1 deficit. They came out with tremendous energy in the 4th set, and that appears like it is carried over. JT Hatch. Demekus a bit tied up. Shershin. It's covered. Blau again, the player of the year. Another chance, it's blocked. Where will Blau go? Third effort. Blau, we're tied. We'll have extra points to decide this national semifinal. Short float serve. Out it comes Arnitz. He's able to drop it in between a couple of Buckeyes. Match point, Mitch Stahl from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. His homecoming, considered playing here at Penn State. Well, tonight he is. It's out of bounds. Christy Blau's turn. Ma'a. Hatch. Shershin gets the call again. And Gillette able to get onto it. Maybe a net violation. Arnitz buries it. UCLA by 1. Very close to a net violation. Michael Ma'a, there was some contact. Watch Michael Ma'a. I suppose the official felt that was the ball and its way up, contacting the net. Match point again, Johnson. Tied at 16. It'll be an epic finish either way. Nicholas Shershin. Left-hand swing for Ma'a. And Franceschi fought off by Smith. And the third hit out of bounds. And now it's the Buckeyes that grab the lead for the first time in a few points. And Ohio State match point. Nicholas Shershin. An ace! The player of the year sends the Buckeyes to Saturday night's final. Ohio State 18-16 in the 5th set. What a thrilling finish. Nicholas Shershin all night was fantastic serving. He made it tough. That is his 5th ace. Pete Hansen's Buckeyes will battle BYU. John Speraw unhappy about, I think, the earlier call on the lift on Hagen Smith that appeared to be a big one. Here's the ace. It came in so hot on Davis Gillette. He had no chance. So to Columbus by way of France. Starting in Poland, Nicholas Shershin, a sophomore, Ohio State's first National Player of the Year, eventually takes the Buckeyes to Saturday night's final. The Buckeyes climb out of an 8-5 5th set hole to do it, forcing the extra points. And that's it. What a matchup Saturday night right here at Penn State. For our entire crew, our producer and directors Alan Hughes and Josh Littlejohn, my name is Ralph Bednarczyk saying good night from Happy Valley. Thank you so much for watching NCAA.com.